There's nothing more satisfying in a musical than a big, flashy group ensemble number. Is Act 2 dragging a little bit and you need some energy? Boom, ensemble number. Are you bringing a character from one location to a new one and you need a way to make it look fantastical and spectacular? Boom, ensemble number. Is just one person singing not good enough? Boom, ensemble number. Ensemble numbers are vital to musical theatre, especially ones that need more than one person. But this does beg the question, the question we were always going to ask. What is the best ensemble number from a musical? There's so many, how are we going to decide? Oh wait, we can do this. Welcome back to the Versus Bracket, the series where I take musical things and I put them on a bracket and I versus them. And then I pick my one that I like more and then we move on. And then you get mad at me in the comments because I didn't pick your favourite. And then you get to play along in the comments and that's what makes it fun. I have picked 32 ensemble numbers and we are going to battle them 1v1 to decide our winner. But if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Ellie, I talk about theatre. I am the most chaotic theatre person on the internet. I do reviews, I do discussions, I do game shows, versus brackets, and so much more. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. But let's dive in to ensemble numbers. So, obviously, I'm very limited in these brackets on how many I can do. We would be here for hours if I did more than 32. So, I've kind of been a little bit pedantic about this one. Yes, this is the ensemble number bracket. However, I've made an executive decision that this will only be mid-show ensemble numbers. Because I've already done brackets for Act 1 finales, Act 2 finales, Act 1 openers, Act 2 openers, I kind of felt it was a little bit unfair to include them onto this bracket as well. They've had their moment, they've had their spotlight, they've had their time. Let's allow this to be just ensemble numbers that come in the middle of a show. I've allowed one ensemble number per musical, so I've picked the one that I feel works the best. And let's just start. Let's just jump straight into it. Starting with Big Fun from Heathers. There's obviously quite a few ones I could have picked from Heathers. Shine a Light would have been fun. It would have been Big Fun. But I felt like Big Fun is that's the one you think of. Versus a musical that some of you may not be as familiar with as Heathers, but it is one of my favourites, and that is the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, and I've chosen Pandemonium. Oh boy, if we start the gate and I don't give it to Heathers, oh, the girlies are going to be mad at me, but yeah, I like the Spelling Bee musical. It's very cute, okay? It's a very sweet musical. It's a bunch of pre-teens fighting in a spelling bee. They're growing up, they're learning things about themselves. It's very cute. It's a lovely little musical. And Pandemonium is chaos, and as the most chaotic person on the internet, I have to love that. As more and more of the kids join in and start singing these moments, and they're getting things wrong, and they're kind of getting in their feelings about the challenges of the spelling bee, it's really cute to see as it builds and builds and builds. And also, it's just got a lovely melody that life is pandemonium, life is pandemonium. It's very punchy. It's very clicky. Love that. That's not to say that Big Fun is not a good musical theatre song as well. I like Big Fun. But the thing about both of these songs is that they're from musicals where, these aren't my favourite songs. They're, ones I enjoy. But, if I'm ranking the songs from Heathers, there's a lot more above Big Fun than if I was ranking the songs for Spelling Bee. Pandemonium is a lot higher in that musical. Is that going to be a deciding factor? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to spitball here. Because essentially this is picking between hairs to pick between songs I like a lot. And there's no method to this madness, so I have to do something. Now, if you were twisting my arm and told me to pick one, I would say it's probably Spelling Bee here. But do I feel certain with that choice? Because I do like Big Fun. I think it's punchy. I think it's raucous. That's a great word, Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. It's a nice blast of energy in that musical. This is a very even pairing. I don't see either one going much further into the brackets, especially because we're going to get to the real heavy hitters, songs that should be finales, the standing ovation in the middle of the act type songs, which which I don't think these are, but push me on it, and I would say spelling bee. I would say spelling bee. I'm gonna give it to spelling bee. It's so rare I get to put spelling bee on one of these lists. Please let me have this one, okay? Next up, we have the March from Suffs versus Carrying the Banner from Newsies. Yet again, the girlies are gonna be mad at me because I'm feeling Suffs. I'm in a Suffs kind of mood today. Now, the March is an incredible number. It's this culmination of the first moment of the Suffs movement in America as they're marching down, campaigning for women's rights. You hear all of these different voices of women from the march, this call and response. It's so impactful and powerful. It builds and builds and builds. It's fantastic. Carrying the Banner is a great number as well. I want to give it credit here, because I put it on this list specifically because it's one that feels like it should be the opening number, but isn't. There's a lot on this list that are like that. We'll get to them as we go along. But I love the introduction to all of the newsboys. I love how it gives you some time with each of them to give you like a little sense of who they are and this community that they all have together. It's very cute, but I do think Suffs is punchier. I do think Suffs is so impactful with how it tackles that number, the build of it, the challenges they face, the sexism they face during the number, the way that it's crafted is so impactful. I have to give it to the March from Suffs here. Next up, we have a pairing that both feel like they should be a culmination of an act. We have Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast versus 42nd Street from 42nd Street. If you didn't guess that, I'm so sorry. It's pretty obvious. Now, this is difficult. Now, I was only going to include one Disney song on this list, and then I remembered Beauty and the Beast existed, and I went, oh no, because that number's really good. Which means there is another Disney song that we're going to get to soon. Disney's very good at putting the, like, really iconic numbers, the ones that everyone knows, just before Act 1 ends. Like, Aladdin does this with Friend Like Me, where you're like, oh, we're going to get through Friend Like Me, and then they have an Act 1 finale as well, and it's like, oh, okay. They, like, love to do, like, the 7-minute, 9-minute... 12-hour extravaganza for the gods that everyone knows, and then end the musical with a different song. Which has meant that in so many of these brackets, I can't speak about the Disney musicals as much, because it's just not as iconic. It's not as iconic. Beauty and the Beast is a musical staging that I'm not overly fond of, but the way they do Be Our Guest is phenomenal. I mean, that is musical theatre, baby. But then again, it's up against a musical about musical theatre that culminates in a musical theatre number for the ages. I mean, 42nd Street, it takes you through so many different elements of that musical they're staging in that show. We see it's so many different bits and the numbers and the tap and everything. It's just this blast, this journey. It's so strong. And this is why this choice is so hard, because both of these are phenomenal. Both of these are like standing ovation worthy. Both of these are stunning. Push me on it, and I would say the iconic nature of Be Our Guest and like my own personal attachment to that song is probably what's gonna send that through. Yeah, let's go with that. That's my decision. I'm gonna go with Be Our Guest just because of nostalgia reasons. There you go. That is the only thing I can point to send anything through, otherwise we're going to be here for 5 hours. This whole video is about making hard decisions and quick decisions, snap decisions even. Sometimes I get them wrong, sometimes I get them right, and I just have to deal with the consequences, you know? Next up, oh no. We have Way Down Hadestown from the musical Hadestown versus Consider Yourself from Oliver. This is a finale pairing. Like, straight up, I could have seen both of these in the finale. And yet, by luck of the draw, by me hitting the shuffle button 1,000,001 times, these have ended up versing each other in the first round, and I need to make a decision, because this doesn't allow me to send both through. I would, if I could, but I can't. So, I've got to make a decision. The criteria is an ensemble number. And it feels like Consider Yourself is more an ensemble number in this case. I mean, Wait on Hadestown obviously features that ensemble a lot, and it is one of my favourite songs on Hadestown. The fact it is on this list is just because I couldn't speak about it anywhere else, and this is a category it fit. So it's here, and now I have to maybe get rid of it first round, because I can't contest that Oliver is not great. Like, Oliver's a musical that I've never really loved, and then I went to see this latest production in London. I'm like, oh yeah, I actually really like Oliver. It's just that one little section at the start of Act 1, before we get to Consider Yourself, like, when we're in that weird funeral parlour bit, and, like, the weird relationship with Mr. Bumble and the widow, which is, like, uncomfortable and aged so badly. Like, once you get past all of that, it's incredible, and Oliver is, like, one of the best musicals of all time. But, oh my god. How am I gonna pick? No. Can I rig it? Can I rig it? Can I move it? Can I move it? I love Hadestown. Hadestown is one of my favourite musicals of all time. It is, like, top 3 favourite musicals. It means so much to me. And I think that's the reason why I could maybe push it over. Because When in Hadestown is, like, a song that I would go back to and back to and back to and back to again. To constantly listen to it over and over again. But on the other hand, Oliver, that number is just so strong. It's so iconic. I've used the iconic status of a song to push it through already in this bracket. So, am I going to do that again with Oliver? This is the question. Because if I'm speaking ensemble number, if I'm speaking how much an ensemble impacts on a song, I would say it's probably Oliver, because I feel like when I'm stripping anything back, stripping back any opinion I have on the songs themselves, what is the better ensemble number? It's probably Consider Yourself. And I think that's the only way I can tackle this, and the only way I can do it fairly. Which would mean I have to knock out one of my favourite musicals, which hurts. But I like to try and be objective as much as I can. And that's the only way I can take this when I love these both, and they both deserve to go through. I think I'm going to have to go with Oliver, which... Ow. 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 Alright, from that difficult decision to another difficult decision, we have Carnival de Barrio from In the Heights versus the other Disney musical on this list, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. What else could have it been? What else would it be? Of course it's Mary Poppins. You know, if we're speaking about scaling up a song, taking an iconic number that already exists in a piece of media, and taking it from its original context of a film, and expanding it for the stage... I think Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is one of the best. Not even just the best out of how Disney's done it, but, like, the best full stop. Like, I love Friend Like Me. I love how they tackle Prince Ali in Aladdin. I love a lot of these. How they tackle this song is incredible, because they move the context of it. They change where it's set. They add a new character in, and that allows it to kind of take its own shape. I really love Mary Poppins. I would say that Mary Poppins is the strongest Disney musical adaptation of all time. I think it's the best suited to the stage out of everything they've done so far. And I think how they adapt it is fantastic. I think that the way they tackle it is so, so good. Which I think results in the best stage show that can stand on its own against the film as well. You can enjoy the film and the musical for same and similar reasons, but still see them as their own things, which I love a lot. I'm a girly who likes their musical adaptations to be adapted, what can I say? I think you can kind of see which way I'm leaning just from me saying all of that, but I do love Carnival de Barrio. I love In the Heights. I love it so much. I wish it could go further. I mean, it's a lovely song. It's a great song. And I think Lin-Manuel Miranda, in his stage musicals that he's written so far, which is 2... I mean, okay, we could also count Bring It On, I guess. But I'm not. It's not on this list. Out of the 2 on this list, Lin-Manuel Miranda is really good at putting his best material in, like, the middle of Act 2, where normally a lot of musicals will, like, slump or struggle, or you get a lot of ballads at that point in a lot of musicals. Lin-Manuel Miranda just goes, hey, how about we put the most energetic songs that you could think of? I mean, Run Where It Happens in Hamilton, like, that's, like, kind of mid-Act 2 point, and that's one of the best songs in Hamilton. And Carnival de Barrio just completely wakes In the Heights up. With all of these fantastic personalities that you've been introduced to throughout the show, just having a fucking party. Let's go. But I do think when we're thinking about ensemble numbers, when I'm thinking about the whole staging of it, when I'm thinking also about how they do it and how they build on it as well, I love what they do with supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which I've been trying to avoid the full title of because it's so much to say. If I was saying it constantly throughout the section, I feel like my mouth would hurt. It's going to second round. Next up, we have Yorktown from Hamilton and Revolting Children from Matilda. Am I going to kick out both of Lin-Manuel Miranda's musicals in the first round? Are you kidding me? Okay, Yorktown is another number that should be the end of Act 1. I'm going to say it. I love Non-Stop. I love it a lot. But Yorktown is just, mwah, chef's kiss, you know? It hurt that I couldn't talk about it on the Act 1 finales, because it feels like such a culmination of everything Act 1 of Hamilton is building towards. I understand why it needs to be non-stop, because that number wouldn't really work in Act 2, and you're building towards the creation of America, rather than just, like, them winning the war, I guess. Like, you're wanting to set up that second act, and set up that upwards trajectory that Hamilton's going on towards and everything, but Yorktown is fiery. It is punchy. You get all of these different groups of people. You have Hamilton bringing you into what all his friends are doing in the war. You have the building up, you have the fight, you have their moment of winning. You have the chant, the world turned upside down, and the rising freedom feeling of that. The celebration, the victory that they feel in that moment. Their fight has been won. That is phenomenal. Which is very funny why it's against Revolting Children, which is also another song about revolution and fighting and ridding yourself of a British tyrant. King George III versus Miss Trunchbull, a true British tyrant. See, I was kind of going back and forth on what song I should include for Matilda here. I was going to do School's Song for a very long time, but I feel like Revolting Children is more iconic. I feel like Revolting Children is like the one people think of. I love it. It's fiery. Have you seen the film where the beret girl does her whole thing? Incredible. We love to see it. Both are like punchy numbers that should culminate an act, but don't. But Push Me On It, Twist My Arm, and I would probably give it to Hamilton here. Hurts, because I love Matilda, but I would give it to Hamilton. Let's go with that. The Abduction from Great Comet versus Best Man Wings from Shucked. Ooh, okay. So I like Great Comet a lot. I love Great Comet. Great Comet is, I will, hand on heart, stand by the fact that I think Great Comet is one of the best written musicals of all time. But it is a musical that was kind of hurt by the fact that this bracket doesn't have the Act 1, Act 2 openers and closers. Because I think Prologue would have been probably a better shout for this list. I think that Letters probably would have got further as well, because I think that explores a lot of the relationships. I love The Abduction a lot. I love it a lot. This build, this celebration, the community that's built between them, a lot of the melody of that. It's a very fantastic moment in that musical. But then there's Best Man Wins. Oh my god, when I saw Shucked at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, and I witnessed them riding along on these barrels and everything, and all of the staging, and the ferocity of it, and the lighting that they did as the sun had set at Regent's Park, and everything was just spectacular. Which is the better song? I would probably say The Abduction. That is better crafted. Just from the simple fact that, like, it's Dave Malloy, and Dave Malloy can write a musical, my god. But if I'm speaking ensemble number, I'm giving it to Best Man Wins from Shucked. Next up, we have two songs that are very good. Oh boy. Run Freedom Run from Urinetown versus Gotta Start Somewhere from Back to the Future. Now, I don't know Urinetown very well. I have not listened to Urinetown, but there was no way that I could do an ensemble number list and not include Run Freedom Run. Like, that is like musical theatre ensemble number personified. But, if I'm going to be honest, it may lose to Back to the Future because I like that song more. Look, I couldn't not include it. I couldn't not, because I think it is very iconic. It's so iconic that me, as someone who doesn't really know Urinetown amazingly well, knows it. Like, come on. But it's up against one of the numbers from Back to the Future that I feel like stands up amazingly well out of context. Like, I enjoy the Back to the Future musical. Am I going for the music? Not really. But Gotta Start Somewhere is legitimately great. It's the standout number from that show. Like, legitimately, out of everything in Back to the Future, that is the song. So, do I go with Back to the Future because I want to kind of give it credit for that? Or do I go with Run Freedom Run? Which I do think is a better number. I mean, the thing about these are both ensemble numbers that are kind of led by a character as well. So I can't really use that as the reason to push one or the other. Like, I think when it comes to thinking of these as ensemble numbers, they're kind of on the same level. So I feel like I do kind of have to go with iconography here, which I would say gives it to Urinetown. Which hurts, because I love Gotta Start Somewhere, but I'm going to give it to Run Freedom Run. We now head to the other side of the bracket. Now, Wicked. There is one song from Wicked, one of my favourite numbers from Wicked, that I keep wanting to put on these brackets because it fits the criteria, but then I remember another song from Wicked that fits it better, and I go, oh, I can't put my favourite on here because of this other one, and if I didn't include the other one, people would be like, where's the other one? For duets, it lost out to For Good, and here, What Is This Feeling, which is one of my favourite numbers from Wicked, has lost out to One Short Day, because I feel like that song is more of the ensemble number. It's more solidly as an ensemble number as well, whereas What Is This Feeling kind of is mostly a duet. So, yeah, sure, One Short Day. It's good. It's understandable, I'm just upset. And it is up against Hello Dolly from Hello Dolly. Okay. I feel like this is probably a slam dunk for Wicked here. One Short Day in the Emerald City. It's great. It's everything you want from an ensemble number. It's one of those ensemble numbers where we've had such a shift in location that we need this setup of this location, and it does it perfectly. You know, there's wonders that they've never seen, and we see those wonders on stage. These extravagant costumes that they're in, the new sets and everything, it looks great. It sounds great. It's a fun number. Hello Dolly kind of comes in as like this big flashy number towards the end of Act 2. And I think the thing that's going to push Wicked into the next round over Hello Dolly is that I don't think the ensemble is what makes Hello Dolly. It's Dolly Levi, because it's all surrounding her. It's her number. She's the one who's giving the glitz and the glam. The boys behind her, they're great. And they add an impact. But that is about Dolly Levi. That's Dolly Levi's entrance. And if I'm having to come in here and push one over the other, if I'm going to have to split hairs, nitpick, then I've got to do that, and I've got to give it to One Short Day in that Emerald City, and it's going to the second round. Next up, okay, Guys and Dolls is a difficult one, because I feel like all of its amazing group numbers fit other lists better. You have Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat, which was on the 11 o'clock numbers list, which didn't necessarily exclude it from this list, but I still was like, oh, it's already had its time. I'd rather give it to something else. Take Back Your Mink, I don't think it was on the Act 2 opening bracket, but it is an Act 2 opener, technically, so no. So this is a rogue choice, but it's a song like What Is This Feeling, where I'm like, okay, this is one of my favourite songs, one of my favourite, like, inconsequential songs from this musical, just because it's a bit boppy and a bit fun. All is established from Guys and Dolls. The good old reliable Nathan Detroit song, that one. Do you remember it? I don't know if you do. I do, because I really enjoy it. I just think it's boppy. But it's up against probably one of the best ensemble numbers of all time. From a musical that doesn't get loads and loads of love, but this song is so good. Brotherhood of Man from How to Succeed at Business Without Really Trying. Was this on my 11 o'clock numbers list? It might have been. It might have been. As I said, being on the 11 o'clock numbers list did not exclude the songs. I love the build of it. It starts with, depending on version, when you see Matthew Broderick, Daniel Radcliffe, Nick Jonas, I think, did it as well. Finch, he's like, hey, I know, my job's on the line. You want to fire everyone. It's cool. It's okay. But just remember, we're brothers. We're family. Like Vin Diesel once said, we are family. And then it explodes, bit by bit. Person by person, this workplace comes together. If there is something that old school musical theatre can do, it is a group ensemble number. And it's kind of wild that I don't have that many on this list. Wow. I really should have rectified that. Well, too late now. I've already been filming for 35 minutes. I ain't fixing that now. Anyway, it builds and builds and builds. You get more and more ensemble coming in. Oh my god, it's mwah. I love All Disestablished. It's a song that's on here because I really love it. I was hoping it could push through past some of these more iconic songs because of that. But it's going to Brotherhood of Man, I'm so sorry. It's just the number, come on. Next up, Billy and It was a hard one to find a choice for, but I gone with Solidarity. And its verse is Skid Row from Little Shop of Horrors. Now, the thing about Solidarity is when you're in the ensemble bits, it's great. You know, the two sides clashing and fighting, love it. I love drama, and that's drama. You know, these roasts that these guys are doing, it's so camp. When you're on the picket line, you went to f*** your missus. Go, this was RuPaul's Drag Race, they would win the reading challenge, come on. And like, underlining that with a lot of Billy exploring and discovering dance, getting better and stronger of it. You see like the timeline of this clash between the police and the striking miners. These really interesting discussions of class and status and gender, and it's done phenomenally well. I think it works better when you're watching the musical itself than if you're taking the song out of context, especially with that cast album that includes a lot of the spoken dialogue in between, but it's a great song. It's up against Skid Row. And I do think this is tough competition because Skid Row is a great song. It's another song that builds. It's one of my favourite Alan Menken songs and one of my favourite numbers from Little Shop of Horrors because I think it sets up that world so well. You get all of these different perspectives from this crowd, from these people who live there. You get a little sense of the place in the world that Seymour's in. It's kind of an I Want song as well, as you hear Seymour and Audrey kind of speak about their place in their lotting life, and you see how their goals really align and why they would be a very perfect pairing for each other. It's great, and I've got to pick, and I think if you were pushing me on it, I love both of these, but I would give it to Skid Row here. Next up, oh boy. Okay, now, I want to speak about Freak Flag first, right? I'm not even going to tell you what the other musical is right now. Freak Flag from Shrek is an okay number. It's good. You know, when we're thinking ensemble numbers, middle of Act 2, this is what you kind of want. I'm not the biggest fan of Shrek the Musical, but I will admit when it does something good. I will stand with my hand on my heart and say Who I'd Be is one of the greatest musical numbers of all time. Do I think it deserves to be in a better musical than Shrek? Yes, but I digress. And I do think Freak Flag 1 on that same level is pretty fun, pretty nice. I think it's a great musical and theatre number to give kids, you know? It's nice, it's fun, you know, it's all about acceptance and that's lovely. I'm all for that. It's up against Totally Fucked from Spring Awakening. Guys, I think Spring Awakening might be winning a bracket. I think so. I think if Spring Awakening has a chance to win a bracket, it's this. Because Totally Fucked, a song that I'm probably having to censor myself say throughout this video so I don't get demonetized from YouTube, is so good. It's so good. It's so good. I think you can kind of see from what's going through to the next round, my taste in ensemble number is big. Punchy. A song that comes in the perfect place to change that musical and bring it into a different path and wake it up. And I think Spring Awakening needs that song because you've just been through a lot of like the biggest tragedy. Trying not to spoil the plot too much for Spring Awakening, you get hit with like the saddest news there. You've gone through this whole really tragic moment with the start of Act 2, and then it comes back to life with Totally Fucked. Oh my god. As much as I was umming and ahhing about my thoughts on the Almeida production of Spring Awakening, what they did right was totally I mean, they had a flare. They lit a flare. They lifted up parts of the stage and there was fire. It was like this absolute riot. And that's what it is. That is what this song is. Absolutely, this is going to Totally Fucked. Anything battling that song, I fear for their life. It's going to take a strong competitor to beat this number through this bracket, and I can't wait to have to be the person to decide that. Next up, we have Screechin' from Come From Away, another song where, like, I had a lot of choices. I feel like Screechin' is, like, that's the group number to me. If Come From Away had an Act 1 finale, it would be Screechin', but it doesn't, so it's here instead. And we have Jekyll and Hyde with Facade. I don't really love Jekyll and Hyde, and to be perfectly honest. Maybe it's a musical I need to give another chance to at some point, but I don't really love it. I mean, I love Frank Wildhorn. I think it has some great numbers in it, but it's not really my favourite, and it's up against my favourite musical, and so, you know, I think you can kind of tell where this is going, but I'm going to try and be nice and fair about it, because I don't think I should be, I've got to give all these numbers a fighting chance, but I'm going to be perfectly honest here, I don't really love Jekyll and Hyde. I don't really like it that much. I mean, maybe I just need to see a really good production of it. I mean, maybe, I know there's a pro shot, maybe I should watch the pro shot again, now that maybe I can give it another fighting chance. I mean, I saw a production like years ago, but I didn't really love it that much, and I'm sorry, okay. I think Facade is a nice number. It's okay. It's good. It's serviceable. And that's about as much as I would say about it. I think it's one that's kind of suffered a bit with, you know, this being the song I had to pick for Jekyll and Hyde, because I actually do really like Murder, Murder. Murder, Murder is a great song. Love that one. It's camp. Murder, murder in the night air. Murder, murder, it's a nightmare. But Facade, it's okay. It's nice. It sets up this Victorian world very well. Screechin', I feel like, is such exploration and such culmination of that feeling of community that Come From Away provides. You know, I don't think it's the greatest music theatre song of all time, and I think it's going to struggle to get too much further into this bracket, but I feel like it's so good at summing up what Come From Away is about. People in the worst of times coming together, and just this moment of community. We've had a lot of tension between Come From Aways, and just allowing the Come From Aways to experience this moment of culture and the way of life of the Newfoundlanders. It's so lovely. It's so nice. And I love the way that it sets up some more of these character journeys, the more things we'll see from these characters going on into the musical. It sets up a lot of the relationship more between Nick and Diane, and obviously the breaking up between the Kevins as well, and their tensions in their relationship, and the different ways that they're dealing with being stranded in Newfoundland at this point. I feel like it is personally screeching for me. Maybe I need to give Jekyll and Hyde another chance, maybe I need to give Facade another chance, but yeah, I do think it's screeching. We have two songs that start with the word what. We have What You Want from Legally Blonde, and What I Know Now from Beetlejuice. This is hard, because I really do like Beetlejuice, but it's up against a 7-minute, 8-minute extravaganza for the gods in Legally Blonde. I think there's so many layers to that journey in What You Want that makes it such a fun number. This building upon it, starting with Elwood's, the setting of the goals, and ending with her achieving it. It's a great, journey, taking us through that section of the film where, you know, she's sending in her tape and tackling it in a slightly different way that makes it more musical theatre. Love that. Loved it a lot. I really enjoy What I Know Now from Beetlejuice. I think it's one of these numbers that's more set on a certain character. I almost didn't include it onto this list because it's too heavy with Miss Argentina. But it's a nice song. It's nice. It's great. I think it's very well needed in Beetlejuice. It's another song that comes into Little Act 2 where you need a kind of more bigger group number to wake you up a little bit. But yeah, I don't think either of these are, my favourites, but I would give it to What You Want. Next up, At the End of the Day from Les Mis, another number that feels like it should be an opening number, but isn't, and Sex is in the Heel from Kinky Boots. While I love Kinky Boots, I do think this is a slam dunk for Les Mis, so let's speak about Kinky Boots first. I enjoyed this number a lot. I think it's great. I love the angels coming in, the drag queens, this group coming into the factory. I love how they change it and switch it all up. I love the energy Lola has in that factory. Oh, it's stunning. But at the end of the day, it's at the end of the day. I think that number is so intrinsic to its ensemble. I think as you're seeing this journey of Fontaine, you're seeing all these different groups. I think the melody and the music, oh my god, it just soars. It's stunning work. It's absolutely stunning. It's breathtaking. I would give it to Les Mis. And finally, for this round, we have Raise Your Voice from Sister Act versus A Matter of Time from Benjamin Button. This is difficult, right? Because There's a lot of ensemble numbers I could pick from Benjamin Button, and I've gone with this one because I like it a lot. I like the characters that we're introduced to in the opening number, and the way that we see more and more of them as we go through the musical. And I love that theme of Benjamin Button, as you see like these dominoes falling, and these things happening that affect everyone through this world, and ending with how it affects Benjamin. I love that. I love the melody of the song. I think it's so fun. I think it's a great number. Raise Your Voice is fantastic, though. Another one where you're like, this should really be the Act 1 finale, but it isn't, because the Act 1 finale is Take Me to Heaven reprise. But I think the question is, okay, which one works better as an ensemble number? Because I think the ensemble is so intrinsic to Benjamin Button that I do want to lean towards that, but I feel like the ensemble and the building of that group is so intrinsic to Sister Act. No, this is so difficult. Okay. Because my personal bias wants to give it to Benjamin Button because I love that musical, and also it's a crime that it's closing in the West End now. Please go see Benjamin Button while you still can. It's one of the best musicals of all time. But Sister Act is so good with that number. Sending one of these through over the other feels wrong. It's weird because I would say Sister Act in this case is probably the better number, but I think it's slower with how it builds, and I think a lot of the group and the ensemble of Benjamin Button makes me remember that song more sometimes. I'm trying to find the littlest things to send something through, and I don't know. I'm going to have to just go with my gut, which is saying Benjamin Button, which I think might be wrong in this case, but I've got to suck it up, because I've been filming for almost 50 minutes now. Be thankful I edit these. So we're going to go with Benjamin Button. Okay, now we have gone through our first round. We can go through the next rounds. Quick fire. I've got to make snap decisions now, go with whatever my gut is saying, and find our winner. Pandemonium from Spelling Bee versus The March from Souths. Well, I love Pandemonium. I think this is hands down Souths. That is such a brilliant number. Such a fiery number. Such a fight. Love it so much. Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast versus Consider Yourself from Oliver is a fierce fight. Those are two songs that are absolutely phenomenal. But I think that in this instance, it would go to Consider Yourself from Oliver. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious versus Yorktown from Hamilton. I think Hamilton is the better number, but I want to give it, in this case, to Mary Poppins here, because of how they adapt that number, because of how it grows, because of what they do to it to make it more of an ensemble number. I think that deserves a lot of credit. Is that the reason I'm going to send it through? Let's go with it. I'm going to give it to Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I don't know if that's the right decision, but again, as I said, quick fire choices. Got to go with my gut, and that's what my gut is saying. Best Man Wins from Shucked versus Run Freedom Run from Urinetown. I think this is where my personal bias is going to win over, because obviously I know Shucked a lot better than I do Urinetown. I'm obsessed with Shucked at the moment. Ask me again in like 6 months when I'm kind of off this Shucked high that I'm on. Maybe I would give it to Urinetown, but I'm going to give it to Best Man Wins. I think a lot of that staging is so well done. I think that number comes at the perfect point in that musical. Yeah, I'm going to go with Best Man Wins from Shucked. Let's go. Other side, One Short Day from Wicked versus Brotherhood of Man. I think people are going to disagree with me here, because obviously people know Wicked a lot more than they do How to Succeed. I think people are going to expect this to be a slam dunk for Wicked. But I think the way that Brotherhood of Man builds, and the way that that culminates, and everything about a number just screams. Like, that is a number that you cannot separate at all from that ensemble. It's fantastic. It's so good. I'm going to give it to Brotherhood of Man. I love Wicked here, but I do think this is Brotherhood of Man. Skid Row from Little Shop of Horrors versus Totally F***ed with Spring Awakening. I'm so sad that Little Shop has got to go out here, but I've got to give it to Spring Awakening. The fire of that number, the passion, the build. If you get a perfectly staged version of this number, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it has to go through to next round. Screeching from Come From Away versus What You Want from Legally Blonde. Okay, I like both of these. I'm not sure how much further both of these will go. I think both of these are very big numbers and very important numbers for their musicals, but I've got to make a choice, and in this moment, I am leaning more towards Come From Away here. So I will give this one to Come From Away. At the End of the Day from Les Mis versus Matter of Time from Benjamin Button. I kind of struggled with sending Benjamin Button through to the second round, and I do think Les Mis is a bigger number. I do think Les Mis is a number that has that ensemble. Now, the only thing that I can maybe point to push Benjamin Button through here would be, I think there's more lulls in At the End of the Day, but it's just because plot. I mean, it's kind of important in a musical to have the plot be there, but I do think the peaks of that number, the peaks of At the End of the Day, are strong enough to keep it going through this bracket. I would send through Les Mis. Hurts to see Benjamin Button go, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Okay, we are now into our next round. We have the March from Suffs versus Conceal Yourself from Oliver. A fierce competition here. As much as I love Suffs, as much as I love it, I do think it would be wrong not to send through Conceal Yourself. I do think that would be wrong here. I do think Conceal Yourself is iconic. Obviously, it's been around for a lot longer than Suffs. Suffs is not at the time to become as iconic as Conceal Yourself, but I think the way that the number builds and grows, especially when you have, like, this new production as well, and the ensemble moments in that. But then again, I think Suffs builds incredibly well as well. Okay. I mean, Conceal Yourself beat out one of my favourites. Do I play the favourites card and say that I send through Suffs because I like that more? I don't know. I think these are very on par. I legitimately think that. But I do think it would feel wrong not to send through Oliver here. So I will give it to Consider Yourself, as much as it hurts. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious versus Best Man Wins. I think I'm going to stick with Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Again, how they build that song for that musical, I think it's so good. I think it's one of the best examples of taking an iconic song and improving it and making it its own thing for the stage. I'm giving it to Supercalifragilistic... See what I mean? I can't say it. I'm giving it to Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Other side, Brotherhood of Man versus Totally Fucked. This is a finale. This is a finale pairing. I was expecting this bracket to be this finale, honestly, but it's not, and I've got to make a decision right now, and I think my decision... I think the only thing I can probably use here, because I think these are very well matched, is which one I like more, which I think would be Totally Fucked from Swing Rating, so let's send that through. Next up, Screechin' versus At the End of the Day, which I think this would go to Les Mis here. I think At the End of the Day is a great number. I mean, I love Screechin', and I think that song is more impactful in terms of the whole show. Am I talking myself around a comfortable way? And it's everything I look for in an ensemble number, but okay. You know what? Fine, let's give it to Screechin'. Is that wrong? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I've had to cut so many of my favourites, okay? I had to cut Suffs. I had to cut Hadestown in the first round. Let me have this one, okay? Let me have this one. Let me have one, please. Okay, we are now at our semi-final. We're going to go for our semi-final, then we're going to find out our third place, and then find our winner. Consider Yourself, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Either of these could go through. Like, quite perfectly honestly, either of these could go through, and I would be okay with that. Whatever I don't send through here is going to be a great third place, you know? But I think when I'm thinking about ensemble numbers, when I'm thinking about what they do on stage, when I'm thinking about productions I've seen, I would say this one goes to one of them. I don't know. I'm trying to force myself to make a decision, even though I don't even know what I want to say right now. I think the only thing I can use is how much the ensemble impacts a number, which I think Consider Yourself is so lively, and I think Consider Yourself builds so well. I think Consider Yourself is a number that is very fundamental. I mean, Consider Yourself part of the furniture, Consider Yourself one of the family, the community that's built in that as well, and like, you know, I think it's joyous. I think it's fun and lovely, and I'm going to give it to Consider Yourself. And the other side, I think you know what I'm going to say. Honestly, I'm a little bit shocked that Comfort Way made it this far. I know it's my favourite musical, but this is not the song I expected to get this far. I love it a lot. I love what it stands for in the musical. It's a great number. It's fantastic. I expected it to get to second round the most, but I'm allowed bias sometimes. It's my video. You can put your opinions in the comments. That's fine. You do it yourself. They're my favourite comments. I love to see how you guys find your own winners. That's what makes this series fun. But right now, I feel like Comfort Way's lucky streak has run out here. I would give this one to Totally F***ed. So, we have our finale built up. Before we go and find out our winner, let's do second place. We have Mary Poppins with Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious versus Screechin from Come From Away. And I think it's very obvious that the winner here is Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I mean, I love Screechin. I love it a lot. But I feel like Mary Poppins and what they do with that number, the way they build it, the extra section they add in with spelling it as well, and the choreography, is great. And I can't believe that both of the productions that I was thinking of for both Mary Poppins and Oliver were both choreographed by Matthew Bourne. This is a very Matthew Bourne coded bracket, apparently. But yeah, the winner of third place is Mary Poppins here. And so we come to our finale. Let me know out of these two who you would pick as your winner. Let me know your winner choice out of everything in the comments. Let me know any songs that I forgot. As I said, I can only fit 32 songs onto this list. Are there any songs that I forgot? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. But now it comes to this. Consider Yourself from Oliver versus Totally Fucked from Spring Awakening. I think at this point in the video, my monetization is out of the window. All of my money, goodbye. So long, farewell, I'll be the saying goodbye. We have two utterly phenomenal ensemble numbers here. But in this case, I do think my bias is winning out. I think I have to give it to a number that means so much to me. A musical that I absolutely adore. I do think my personal winner in this instance would be Spring Awakening. But what do you think? But that's my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments down below. And if you have any ideas for future brackets, let me know as well. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now, and a link to my Instagram if you'd like to drop me a follow over there. I also have other social links and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!